Right, everybody, how you doing? This is a quick intro to what already is a long video. Please watch it through to the end because I've got some really cool facts that I want you to see. And it's a bit of it is a Sarah's UK graveyard video. You'll be familiar with the format, but I feel like this one's a little bit different because I've sort of linked it with more history up front, followed by some graves, followed by the mention of this book. This is the book that I'm referring to. Now, this one was printed in 1936. I read you the foreword out of this book, and the reason why I've gone to Hickleton is because, well, I've been there before, but I didn't realise that the person that wrote this book, Lord Halifax, I didn't realise he lived there. So, and this book is quite a sought after ghost book, and it's got some fabulous stories, and I intend to start reading them and posting the videos, or I'll do them on a live if anyone wants to watch. So watch till the end. Let me know at the end if you want any of these stories, or if you've got anything else that you want me to know. So that's it. I'm going to shut up. Enjoy the video, everybody. Thank you for watching, and I'll see you in the next one. Good morning, everybody. So it's a dismal day. Let me just wash this window and see if we get a bit of a better view from the car's camera. I don't know. Maybe we do, maybe we don't. It's just a dull day. Where we've just passed is, if I think on, I'll stop on the way back from where we're going. We're going to Hickleton. I'll tell you why in a minute. But basically, where we've just passed, there is a churchyard and there's a massive graveyard off the side of it. So I think we'll definitely stop. I missed the graveyard last time, or maybe I'm making it up. I'm sure I've seen one off to the side of the church. Anyway, this is the point. In that churchyard is a memorial to the Oaks Colliery disaster, which I've featured on the channel before, but we've not been to the monument, so we'll go and have a look at that later. And if I'm right and I'm not just made it up, you know, maybe in a dream or something, we will go and have a look around that churchyard. So we're on the way to Hickleton. Hickleton is, this is not the abandoned farmhouse there, everyone, that we've just passed. You won't be able to see it. It's fabulous. But Hickleton is the ancestral home, or Hickleton Hall is the ancestral home of Lord Halifax. So Lord Halifax is, or was, he was something to do with the Church of England. I can't remember the name of the organisation now. You know what I'm like, I'll put it in my text. But basically it was part of a religious movement. His father was very influential in British politics, championed a lot of bills that are very important in our modern day society now, I suppose, that's still relevant. His son was Viceroy of India. He was massive in politics, his son. He was around in the First and the Second World War. Most notably, is that the word? Yeah. In the Second World War, he suggested to I was going to say Hitler then. He suggested to Winston Churchill, who was second Prime Minister during World War II. He wasn't the first. The first was Chamberlain. But Winston is the most famous, who incidentally, everybody, if you're watching from Oldham, and I've said this a million times before, no one acknowledges it, but Winston Churchill was MP of Oldham. That was his first seat as an MP, Oldham, although I think he only visited there 2 or 3 times. One of those times that he visited Oldham was to open a monument, the statue of Robert Ascroft that's in Alexandra Park. That was one of the times that Winston Churchill came to Oldham. But I digress. So today we're talking about Lord Halifax. So, his son, suggested to Winston that we should appease the Germans, you know, and Winston was like, "You're kidding, aren't you? We're not doing that." And hence we all know what happened in history. So yeah, I'm not suggesting anything bad against his son. He was, you know, he'd just gone through all the terrors of World War I, I don't think he wanted to inflict another world war on people, but we all know from history that that's what happened. We're not talking about World War II today, we're talking about Lord Halifax. So Lord Halifax, so the father of that guy that I just mentioned, who, I'm going to be reading your foreword from Lord Halifax's ghost book. It was written by one of his sons. I'm going to be reading that out to you very shortly. Once we arrive, we'll have a look at the hall and I'll read the foreword. Also, at the end of this video, everybody, I am going to read the story that was written by Lord Halifax. So if you want to watch till the end and listen to one of the stories, then that would be fantastic. And I'll read it in my usual way. I'm not going to edit it. I'll probably cock up along the way. I've not read the story myself, so there'll be some reaction to it as well. But anyway, I keep digressing, don't I? Lord Halifax was a believer in the supernatural. He believed in ghosts. It was all about imagination, and you know, the realms of the impossible with Lord Halifax. He was fascinated by it, and in the foreword it talks about how his children used to be terrorised by listening to these stories and then trying to get to bed in this hall. So as I said, if I read the foreword, you'll get a flavour for that. Right, everyone, as we make our way to Hickleton now for the rest of the journey, or some of it, I'm going to read you from the book. This is the foreword, which was written by Lord Halifax's son, and it was dated June 1936. I haven't got my glasses. Watch today's live if you want to know what's going on there, so just bear with me as I try and read it. As long as I can remember, my father's ghost book was one of the most distinctive associations of Hickleton. He kept it always with great care himself, from time to time making additions in his own handwriting and bringing it out on special occasions such as Christmas to read some of the particular favourites aloud before we all went to bed. Many is the time that after such an evening we children would hurry upstairs, feeling that the distance between the library and our nurseries, dimly lit by oil lamps and full of shadows, was a danger area where we would not go willingly alone, and where it was unsafe to dawdle. Such treatment of young nerves even in those days would not have been everybody's prescription, and I well recollect my mother protesting, though I believe almost invariably to no effect, against the children being frightened too much. My father, however, used to justify the method as calculated to stimulate the imagination, and the victims themselves, fascinated and spellbound by a sense of delicious terror, never failed to ask for more. I have often wondered what really underlay the attraction that ghost stories and the like held for my father, leading them to fill so not inconsiderable a place in the background of all of our life with him as children. They appealed strongly to his natural sense of mystery and romance, which so largely dictated his scale of values in the appraisement of persons and things. Apart from moralities, few charges in his eyes were more damaging to persons than that they should be judged devoid of imagination. And the actual framework of everyday life had value according as it corresponded to something more profound than itself, to be felt rather than seen, and to be apprehended only by the faculty more subtle than that of reason. And I cannot doubt that the true secret of the appeal made to his thought by the mysterious or so-called uncanny was the glimpse that such narratives or events might seem to afford of the hidden realities of the unseen world. The story which he wrote himself and which appears at the end of this book under the title Colonel P's Ghost Story begins and follows where the dead, those who have loved us and whom we have loved, and those to whom we may have done some irreparable injury. Sorry everyone, I'm struggling with these eyes. Are they gone from us forever, or do they return? Are they still among us, possessed of that undefined, mysterious and awful existence which the ancient world attributes to the ghost of the departed? Between this world and others which escapes our senses, we can neither explain the connecting link nor admit an impassable barrier. The mystery, romance, adventure, otherworldliness all played their part, and since these stories were thought worthy of presentation to a wider public, I hope that they may be the means of making known another aspect of the many-sided personality of their collector, and reproduced for their readers some of the interest that held for him. And it's signed Halifax, June 1936. I believe that person is the man that I was just showing you, the one that was in the war cabinet. So we'll continue the journey on a little bit of fast forward with some music, and I'll see you at Hickleton Hall. All right, everybody, we're at Hickleton Hall. So this is where Lord Halifax, his father, his son, lived. This is the house in the foreword that I'm about to read in a moment, where the children had to basically go from the library or past the library up to their rooms. Look, there's these old stables here, everybody. It's absolutely beautiful. I think I need to get a coat on, it's a bit chilly. Right, let's go and have a look around the churchyard, because Lord Halifax has to be buried in here. So get my coat on and let's go and have a look. So this is the graveyard of St Wilfrid's. This is the church, St Wilfrid's. Very, 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 very old church, everybody, as you can see. There's a big monument here. I'm wondering if this is anything to do with the Halifaxes. The surname was Wood. It was called Charles Wood. Lord Halifax was a name that was given, I assume, something to do with Halifax, because he was Earl of Halifax as well. Now, interestingly, I can see straight away that there's a Charles here. This is Charles, Henry, Paul. No. Another Charles. Or does that say Charter? There's Agnes. Now, sure, the mother was called Agnes. Lady Agnes. Right, we're going to have to try and read this, everybody. There's no point in trying to... It's just really difficult to see it. Most of it's worn away. Viscount... Right, here we go. So this is Viscount Resitinium. Is that what it says? Viscount Halifax. Right, and something the Agnes head. It's all broken off, everybody. This is it. This is the grave marker, definitely. And this says Viscountess. Oh, there's a fella there, look. Bet he thinks I'm a weirdo talking to myself. So this is... I can't see anything for Charles Wood, though. Another Viscount. This is the family plot, definitely. Oh, and this says the sons of Charles. Look, third sons of Charles, Henry, Paul. I know I keep walking around this one, but I'm determined to work it out. I just can't see it, everybody. Oh, that man's over there tending to a grave. I'll tell you what, while we're here, let's do a few graves. Let's maybe see if there is another grave to Charles Viscount, but I think he's in the church, me. I really do. I think that's a memorial, maybe. Anyway, let's have a look round. I bet it's beautiful at night, this church lit up. Look at them stunning lights, everybody. Original. This is Tabitha West, wife of George West, who died February the 1st, 1883. She was 76. Also, George is in there. He died in 1836. And Daniel West, son of the above, he died in 1863. Sometimes it's very difficult to find record older, like the early 1800s. You know, they weren't as good at keeping records then. Certainly not in these parts, maybe more in London, the bigger cities. For 34 years, the faithful friend and servant of Lord and Lady Halifax and family. Wow. This is great, isn't it? And then we've got Basil Herbert Kingsley. He was former vicar of this parish. He died March the 12th, 1929. Hello. Oh, I hope I'm not disturbing. Okay. Oh, that man's just visiting his family, poor bugger. So this is an interesting grave, everybody. Look at this one. Oh, in fact, no, let's not look at this one. These are fairly recent. We don't do recent graves on the channel, so let's just keep on going till we find something round here. Look at that. I would absolutely love to see inside this church. I mean, it'd be absolutely fantastic if there was someone here that could let us in. But it might be a case of just coming back on a Sunday. Let's have a look here. So we've got Florence, the beloved wife of George Henry Townend of Hickleton. Everyone, I've had to cut in. I've just been checking the records for Florence. As I do, I check for everybody and I let you know who they were, etc. And I wanted to tell you this directly because I think it's a bit sad. So Florence has died in 1901. I've just found a record where George, they were from Goldthorpe, which is a town just at the side, or they were living in Goldthorpe. Anyway, George, widower at 33, and baby Florence, 2 months old, living together. I think George probably did go on and got married. I say that in a minute in the video, but I just thought I'd let you know that I think what's killed poor Florence there was probably childbirth, which is what I'll go on to say. So I just thought I'd let you know that. A bit of a sad story, and I didn't want to just put it into text, but there you go. She died in 1901. She was only 23. Look at this, everybody. I think this is an example of... obviously, George would have gone on and remarried, and he'll be buried with his new wife, maybe somewhere in this churchyard. But definitely, as it seems from the evidence on the stone, not with poor Florence here. Maybe she died in childbirth. Maybe she died of an epidemic. Let's see if we can do some... Well, I'll do some research and see what I can find for the time. Right, everybody, I've got another update. So I was a bit sad after I saw that because I thought that's really tight, that. So I just wanted to give you an update. So in terms of what happened to baby Florence and her father, so they lived with his dead wife, who's in the grave, who just seen Florence. The husband lived with the daughter, with the father and mother-in-law. 2 years later, he married Annie, and they brought Florence up together. Florence got married to someone called Keith Barker. And in 1939, they were living in Goldthorpe, which was just about the start of the Second World War. So I don't know if Keith did go to war. I can't see any record of that. He may have done because of his age and because of his experience from First World War, maybe. But I know that he didn't die in the war because he died on the 21st of September 1964, which would probably put him around about 62, 63 if he were the same age as Florence, because she was born in 1901. He left a £2,217, which was a lot of money back then. Doesn't say what he did for a living. But Florence was still alive then. So Florence will have lived till she was, what, in 64? She would have been 63. If I can find anything else, I'll put it in. But just know that it was a sad start. But Florence, yeah, she did live a long and hopefully a happy life. Let's get on with the rest of the video. This is a beautiful grave. Look at this one. This is quite unusual looking. Looks like a rope. And it says, in loving memory of Susan, wife of T. Middleton, died March the 23rd, 1879, aged 38. Also, the above named Thomas Middleton, he died June the 7th, 1919, and he was 81 years old. Bloody hell. Yeah, it's about right. So he's about right. Maybe a little bit older than Susan. I think we've got another grave marker here, but this poor sod, we don't know who is who. I'm going to show you the 3 skulls, everybody. I showed you in a previous video, but I think it'd be crazy not to show you while we're here. That lady we just saw in that grave, she would have served the Lord Halifax that we were talking about in the book. She would have been aware of those nights, you know, telling the kids stories, and fabulous. Oh, they must have just been put out. They've not got rugs on them too. Can you see the white noses? One's got a white nose, the other one's got a star on its forehead. Oh, look at this. This is a bit disappointing, isn't it? You see that, everybody? Do you want to have a look at the 3 skulls? Rumour has it, well, not rumour has it, history states that these skulls were 3 people who basically stole from the village, and they were caught, hung, and the skulls put on display. But one of the skulls was stolen, which is the middle one. Can you see it? This one is fake, but these 2 are very, very real. And this says, today for me, being a skull, tomorrow for thee, being that's what comes to us all. Wow, I think it is. It's all wood. It is, it's wood, everyone. Request sent in pace. I think that means rest in peace. John Dalton Priest, Vicar of Hickleton, 1885 to 1922. He died August the 24th, 1924. And also Mina Dalton, his wife, she died in 1923. May the 2nd. How beautiful that that's made out of wood. The sun is in there. You know, everybody. Let's get on the path. Yeah, I'm going to go back, everyone, because it is fleeing, and I mean ridiculously bloody cold. If you want to see more on Hickleton, maybe, you know, a different time, if you go back on the channel, I think I called it the 3 Skulls of Hickleton. About 18 months ago that I did it. It was a beautiful summer's day. And yeah, so this is where Lord Halifax lived. I'll shut the door. That fella's there in that mac again. Oh God, my hands are so bloody cold. Hickleton Hall, everybody. I think it's a grade 2 or could be grade 1. There was a lot of money, well, it's a care road now, but I think there was a lot of money given by the National Trust to fix it. Anyway, I don't know. Let's go to, I might have a dry food gold. I just cut myself off there mid-floor. Just pressed the button. I'm going to go Goldthorpe on way back. Have a drive through, see if we can see anything interesting, and then what we'll do is we'll go to... Oh, my hand's frozen off. Hey! I've just noticed something, everyone. Do you see above the church door? See that crest? I'm telling you now, that is the crest of the Halifax family. Or their family crest, going back years and years and years. They've got to have a bloody, they've got to have a grave inside that church. I'm not having it. I'm going to have to come back on a Sunday at some point and have a look. Right, let's get going. I need a pee as well. I constantly need the toilet when I come out. It's ridiculous. Let's go.